In Iran, 2,000 miles away from Israel, Mossad built a drone base building explosive drones in Iran.
That's crazy.
And then the drones were used to strike ballistic missile launchers at a base near Tehran, preventing Iran from firing projectiles at Israel as the strikes began.
How you guys doing? This is Sahar TV, and this is Ben Shapiro's take on what's currently happening between Israel and Iran. Let's take a look.
One of the most historic geopolitical moments of our lifetime happening right now as Israel takes out the Iranian nuclear regime, takes out its top military leaders. We'll bring you all the operational details, all the intelligence spilling out into the public. We'll talk with sources on the ground in Israel, top military members, all the information coming up. Plus, Democrats continue to shout into the void. Senator Alex Padilla of California tried to crash a press conference by Christie Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security, and get some attention. And then his big moment got completely obliterated by the news cycles. So much coming up on today's show. So last night, Israel began striking targets inside Iran, striking a wide variety of targets in Iran. Those strikes have continued all the way into the daylight hours, which suggests that Israel has complete control of the skies of Iran, an astonishing geopolitical, unprecedented situation. Understand that Iran is located some 2,000 miles from the state of Israel, that Iran is a country of 90 million people, and Israel is a country of 9.8 million people, or thereabouts, 2 million of whom are Arab. Israel is now projecting power 2,000 miles across a variety of countries from Syria to Iraq, all the way into the heart of Iran, striking sites in Tehran, taking out top IRGC commanders, taking out nuclear facilities. Here is a map of the situation as it currently stands, an interactive Iran nuclear sites map showing where they have been building. You can see that there are uranium mining facilities and suspected weaponization facilities in places like Natanz and a wide variety of other sites. Israel has been striking these all night long. Natanz has been reduced to rubble, according to contemporaneous reports. Sites have been struck in Isfahan, which is another area where they're supposedly building nuclear weapons. There are a wide variety of Iranian nuclear facilities around Tehran. Israel has been striking those all night long and into the morning hours. The video that has emerged is very clear. Here's video of mushroom clouds in Iran. Again, this sort of video is being put out there, not by the Israelis. It's being put out originally by Iranians who are on the ground. Again, many Iranians support all of this because the Iranian people in general do not support the Iranian revolutionary Ayatollah regime.
Wow.
I mean, you can see the extent of the strikes. The strikes have continued all night long, again, into the morning hours. The IDF has announced the death of a wide variety of top IRGC officials, including the chief of staff of the Iranian Armed Forces, the commander of the IRGC, the commander of Iran's emergency command, all eliminated in the Israeli strikes across Iran by more than 200 fighter jets. So far, Iran's response has been minimal because their capacity has been absolutely degraded in extraordinary ways. In fact, there is video of Israeli Air Force jets refueling over Iranian airspace, which is absolutely unthinkable. And you have to understand that this is the culmination not only of decades of Iranian threats and Iranian attempts to develop a nuclear weapon, this is also the culmination of the Israeli campaign to chop off the arms of the Iranian octopus that has been ongoing since October 7th.
Refueling your planes over enemy territory is an absolute risk. But I think Israel felt safe to do so because they have reduced their ballistic capabilities and their, air defense systems by a whole lot. So it's crazy to see.
After October 7th, Israel focused largely on finishing off Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Hamas is now on its last legs thanks to the work of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Hamas is no longer being supported by the UNRWA, which means they're being starved of funding and they're being starved of logistical support. Israel then went and completely defenestrated Hezbollah in one of the most stunning military operations in modern history. With minimal loss of Israeli life, Israel not only knocked over the Hezbollah forces in Lebanon with their beeper attack, followed by the killing of Hassan Nasrallah, they hit Hezbollah so hard and destroyed so many of their weapons caches throughout Lebanon that Hezbollah was unable to defend the regime in Syria. That regime has fallen, of course, and the new regime is attempting to make agreements with the United States and with Israel, among others. Meanwhile, Israel has been heavily striking the Houthis in the south. All of these different terrorist groups are run directly from Tehran. They are run by Iran. And now, as President Trump attempted to negotiate a nuclear deal and became clearer and clearer that nuclear deal was undoable, he was never going to sign a JCPOA 2.0. And all the people on the right who are complaining that President Trump wasn't being Barack Obama, that was not a MAGA position to be Barack Obama. It was never a MAGA position to be Barack Obama. Donald Trump said for 10 years that the JCPOA was the worst deal in American history. He was never going back to it as new details emerge as to the levels of coordination and talking between the United States and Israel over this current wave of attacks. It is emerging that it is rare. You know, you've listened to my show. It is very rare that I suggest that the president of the United States is playing 4D chess. This appears to be an actual real-life 4D chess move by the president of the United States to put Iran in a box, to keep them there, and then to allow for the possibility of Israel to destroy their nuclear facilities, large swaths of their military capability, with no risk to American troops. So President Trump was, in fact, asked by the Wall Street Journal about whether he was given a heads up by the Israelis. His actual response, quote, heads up? It wasn't a heads up. It was, we know what's going on. So, again, President Trump being very clear about this. It appears the United States was not just read in on the operation. You know, the extent to which this was, in fact, a 4D chess plan in which the appearance of negotiations with Steve Witkoff, for example, were actively put forward by the United States in order to sort of sucker the Iranians into going to sleep after it was clear that the Iranians were not making a deal. It's quite plausible that the United States was, in fact, involved in a sort of disinformation operation operated directly at the Iranian government. In any case, tactical surprise was not only achieved, it was achieved in historic fashion. And that looks a lot like 4D chess with plausible deniability from the United States. I mean, that's what it looks like from the outside and from all of the information that's being released, including from President Trump. So again, the extent of the strikes is extraordinary. The way that the operation went down is extraordinary as well. According to Axios, this strike was 8 months in the making. Axios reports Israel's stunning and sprawling operation overnight targeting Iran's nuclear facilities, missile sites, scientists, and generals followed 8 months of intensive clandestine preparations. The operation launched new war in the Middle East that could draw in the United States, says Axios. That's not true. It did not launch a new war in the Middle East. When people think of war, they think of full-scale ground invasion of Iraq. All the people today who are talking about a full-scale ground invasion of Iran are delusional, insane, or liars. That is not a thing that is happening. Israel, through air power alone, has left the Iranian regime on its knees. Israel has been attempting to eliminate Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile capabilities in an operation expected to last at least several days. The IDF is suggesting it may last all the way up to 2 weeks. Around 25 nuclear scientists are already dead. Israel targeted the entire top brass of the Iranian military.
The amount of intelligence a country needs to have to surgically remove and eliminate the top 25 nuclear scientists, the top leaders of the IRGC, is ridiculous. Ridiculous. This whole operation is insane. I think this is one of the most insane operations, even more than bin Laden's killing operation. This is super surgical. Nobody was ready for something like this to happen. And the best thing of it all, Iran got used to the threats, the tensity between the two countries. So they started sleeping, on their nose. And then we attacked. Beautiful.
There is a story out that suggests that Israeli security officials said that Israel deliberately manipulated events to lure Iran's top air commanders into a meeting and then ensured they stayed there and then killed all of them with an airstrike. Many of the top commanders were killed in their beds because they were so sanguine about the possibility that Israel would do anything. And of course, they were wrong. Israel's Mossad had operatives on the ground conducting covert sabotage operations on missile and air defenses.
Insane.
In fact, the Mossad released video of its agents in Iran releasing sophisticated technology in order to target Iranian surface-to-surface air missiles. Here's some of that footage. You can see it happening here in the background.
Unbelievable.
According to the Times of Israel, the Mossad spy agency revealed rare footage showing its actions against Iranian air defenses and ballistic missile launchers in Iran, showing two covert agents launching missiles from inside Iran. From inside Iran. The drones, apparently, this is insane. Okay, this is truly insane levels of competence.
Unbelievable.
If you like competence, this is your morning. Mossad built a secret explosive drone base in Iran. In Iran, 2,000 miles away from Israel, Mossad built a drone base building explosive drones in Iran.
That's crazy.
And then the drones were used to strike ballistic missile launchers at a base near Tehran, preventing Iran from firing projectiles at Israel as the strikes began. Additionally, vehicles carrying weapon systems were smuggled into Iran. Those systems took out the Iranian air defenses and gave Israeli planes air supremacy and freedom of action over Iran. There's a third covert effort that involved involved Mossad commandos deploying precision missiles near anti-aircraft sites in central Iran. Highly coordinated, highly sophisticated. Folks, we have all the information coming to you. It is a fire hose of information, plus sources on the ground in Israel. The ambassador to the UN from Israel stops by as well, and updates on California, immigration rights, tons coming up.
I'll attach the full video of Ben Shapiro down in the description below so you can watch the whole thing. The whole thing is like 1 hour and I think 9 minutes. But this is absolutely an historic moment to live in. It's absolutely amazing. And by the way, as this video is recorded, ballistic missiles also hit Israel. It is reported that at least 22 people are injured. Hopefully this is going to go smoothly for Israel with barely any casualties or no casualties at all. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you want to support me financially, you can do so through Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links in the description. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.